Hi, Melanie.
Hey Joe, how are you?
Good. I would like to know 5 tips that everybody should know when they're doing social media so they can build their real estate business. Can you help me out with that?
Yeah, I'm so glad you asked. We can just dive in. The first tip for having a really good social media presence as a real estate agent is to figure out what your brand is. Do you have a brand, Joe?
I got a hat. Does that count?
Yeah, that counts. Your brand is super strong. Everyone knows you as the hat guy who teaches people about real estate, which is amazing. So your brand can be anything. It's something, if you can think about a few words that you want your brand to represent, and then everything you post, try to somehow tie it into that. Joe wears his hat in all of his videos, and it's very recognizable, and it sticks in people's mind, which is exactly what you want to do with your clients.
Would you say bring out the best of your personality and don't try and be something you're not?
Yes, I would say that. You took the words right out of my mouth.
Okay. It's just, I think, and we were talking before we got on about some people who are very like these Instagram model looking people on Miami Beach and their boats, but that's not me. I'm a kind of a simple, hokey guy who likes to make things simple. And if I could express that, maybe that could be my brand. That's what I'm trying to do, right?
Right, absolutely. Think about what is unique about you and what makes you different. Also, you can think about what makes you better than other real estate agents in your area, and maybe that can be your brand. You know, something, it should absolutely, Joe, yes, be spot on and true to who you are as a person, because otherwise it's inauthentic and nobody likes that.
So for you, I think your brand, you're portraying positivity, whether it's through the yellow sunflowers and the amazing in the background, and your posts follow that theme.
Definitely. Yep, that is very intentional. I believe that is true to who I am. I love cheering people on and being happy and supportive, and so I took that and I extrapolated it and I use that as my brand.
So for somebody who's more of that clean cut, no mess around business person, their profile is going to look a little more, what's the word I'm looking for? I want to say cleaner, but have more of a different image, more business oriented. The colors will be more of black, blues, and whites and grays as opposed to yellows, and that works for them.
Absolutely. Everyone is different, so everyone's, social media presence is going to be different too.
And the colors help kind of emphasize that brand, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Like for the prep agent brand, it was always blue, gray, and white because we were teaching something. We wanted to be a little more serious, even though it kind of evolved to the hat and all this other good stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Very intentional, and it might not seem like it makes a difference, but it really does. And like Joe was saying, like when you look at it, it's clean, everything flows together, and it makes everything very cohesive.
Okay, what's the next one?
Number 2 is be consistent. In addition to being consistent with the kinds of posts that you're doing and the kind of tone that you're doing, be consistent with your posting schedule. Not everyone needs to post every single day, but if you want to commit to posting twice a week, then you should be posting twice a week, every single week, even if you don't feel like it.
And this applies to all social media, whatever angle you try and go.
Mm-hmm, definitely. And the thing about social media is it really compounds both with the algorithm and with your audience seeing things. Marketers love to say that you need to see something 7 times before you buy it. So assume that most people, when you post, aren't going to see every single thing you post, which is another reason why being consistent is so important, because the more you post, the more chances they have to see what you're posting.
And if you can't yourself, make sure you're regular. There's things that can help you, like Creator Studio, Hootsuite. Can you name any other programs that help with that?
Offer is one.
So there's many different programs for that. We're not going to get into those now. The point is you guys can look for that so you can stay regular with your posting, with your branding, with the image you're trying to put forth.
Absolutely. You ready for tip number 3?
I'm ready.
Be professional. Remember, this is a business, so if you wouldn't say it directly to a client, then you shouldn't be posting it on your business page.
That has always been a tough one for me.
Yes, and to Joe's earlier point, you can still have your personality, but I think everyone knows the difference between, towing the line and crossing the line.
My mother once said, if you can't say it in front of me, then you shouldn't be doing it.
That is good motherly advice, and good social media advice as well. Your mom is a wise woman.
If you can't tell your mom, don't do it. A little tip on that, that I always felt is if you use things that go away for a day, like Instagram stories or other types of social media platforms, I think it could be a little more risque and get it out there and also not be so refined, having the perfect colors because it goes away for the day. The stuff that stays there permanently is the stuff that you kind of want to be a little more refined with it. But if you want to have a big smile and, a video of you jumping in the pool, that'd be more like a story thing, which also doesn't hurt, as long as within reason, as you just said. Let's not go crazy with it.
Absolutely. Excellent point. Stories are a little different because they expire, and you can be a little more playful and a little more relaxed with them.
Okay, to the next one.
Next point is be safe. Remember that this is the internet, and we don't know who will be reading the thing, so never put your personal information, your address. Be careful even about posting, I know we're in real estate, but addresses of properties, and just be careful.
And one of my pet peeves we spoke about before.
I know your pet peeve. Let's share it with the audience.
Don't post your email everywhere, and don't ask everybody else to put their email everywhere. You should never write your email publicly. There's a lot of systems now where you can have them write you through a website, you can have them write you through Facebook, you can write through Instagram. With all the different outlets out there, there's no reason to put that information public. People could write you through certain means, like your website, your Facebook page, your Twitter account, Instagram, things of that nature. Also, go along with being safe. Be very hesitant before you post pictures, of family and friends. They don't always want that, and you have to put yourself out there because it's your business. It's the reality of anybody who wants to make money off of their image, which is true for any salesperson, every artist, every person, politician, whoever it may be. But don't drag other people in unless it's absolutely necessary.
Yes, very, very good point. Not everyone wants to be all over social media.
No. Okay, what's the next one?
So that actually is a good lead into our last one. You need to be all over social media. So be omnipresent. Post all over your pages, but also comment on other people's stuff. Groups are a really great way. There are tons of groups. I'm in a lot, new to Austin, or young professionals in Austin, et cetera, et cetera. I'm thinking, who in Austin is looking to buy or sell real estate, and how can I build relationships with these people that are maybe outside of my direct sphere of influence so I can become their go-to real estate agent?
You met me in a group.
I sure did.
Yeah. So one thing about that, you're going to annoy people if you go on these forums and just say, use me to buy a house. The best way to get your presence out there is showing that you know what you're talking about. Sharing information, sharing advice, sharing knowledge. I know it seems tedious, it's not direct, but it'll lead to those sales. It'll lead to clients rather than just turning people off.
Absolutely. That is such a good point. Always try to lead with value. Don't just pitch yourself because it's going to turn a lot of people away. Instead, try, think if you met someone at the store, you wouldn't just say, hey, I'm a real estate agent. Hey, I'm a real estate agent. You would, build the relationship, chat with them, and the same is true on social media.
As opposed to if you met someone in the store and say, hey, I see you're new in town. Do you need any help with where to shop? Do you need any help knowing which schools to go to? And they'll say, thanks. They say, yeah, I know this stuff because I'm a real estate agent. I work with this stuff. So if you need anything, let me know. Sounds very different, doesn't it?
Very, very different. And one of those people will hire you and the other would not.
Right.
All right, so those are our 5 tips. Just to recap, the first one is to have a brand. The second is to be consistent with how often you're posting. The third one is to be professional. Number 4 is to be safe. And number 5 is to be omnipresent.